In today's lecture, we will start with a new topic, anti-inflammatory drug. So what is inflammation and what is the cause of inflammation, we will see here. So inflammation is nothing but a series of changes that occur in the living tissues following an injury. So when we get injured, we have the tissue undergoes series of changes and it comes in the form of inflammation, and the inflammation has the following symptoms, that is heat, redness, swelling or pain. So the body has a temperature, it is nothing but it is a symptom of inflammation. Some part of the body has a redness, some part has get swollen and we're getting pained. So this heat, redness, swelling and pain, these symptoms are nothing but the response given by our tissue, that is nothing but the inflammation. So this inflammation is caused by an injury or brought about by various conditions. So these conditions we will see here, why the inflammation is get happen. So the first one, due to this physical agents like mechanical trauma, ultraviolet radiations, we get inflamed. The chemical agents like different organic compounds, inorganic compounds, they cause different symptoms in our body. So the tissue shows different symptoms when these organic compounds are when we come with these organic compounds, touch with these organic compounds. The third is biological agents. So some of the bacterias, viruses or fungus, these biological agents cause an inflammation on the tissues. The fourth condition is because of the pathological conditions like rheumatic arthritis, which is an autoimmune disease. So because of these different reasons we get inflamed, that is the body shows an inflammation. So the physical agents are there, chemical agents, biological agents or pathological conditions like an RA, that is rheumatic arthritis. However, inflammation is a normal, essential protective response to any noxious stimuli that may threaten the host and may vary from a localized reaction to a complex response involving the whole organism. So this inflammation is an essential, normal protective response given by our body towards the different agents. So this inflammation may be either a primary or secondary response to the tissue damage. So when we slept on a road, we get some body parts get swollen or we get pain. So that is nothing but the primary response given by our body. The primary inflammation consists of direct defense reaction to the external agents. So the first, that is primary inflammation, consists of a direct defense reaction to the external agent. The secondary inflammation is an indirect defense response due to the physiological conditions of the cell due to autoimmune disease like rheumatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylosis. So rheumatic arthritis disease is the most important cause of inflammation conditions which results in crippling effect on people. So because of this rheumatic arthritis, this inflammation causes and it results into the crippling effect on the people. So this inflammation is of it gives two responses, primary and secondary. And we have seen that because of different conditions, because of different reasons, our body gives a response and is in the form of inflammation. So there are two main types of anti-inflammatory drugs. One is a steroidal anti-inflammatory drug and second one is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. We will see the first, steroidal. The glucocorticoids are adrenocortical hormones which are used as anti-inflammatory drugs. So these glucocorticoids are used as an anti-inflammatory drug. So they have given an example here. Cortisone and hydrocortisone acetates are used in formulation for oral or topical applications. So this cortisone is nothing but it is an steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So here is the structure for prednisolone and betamethasone. So when you get dry cough, then when you go to the medical and if you see this syrup, on the syrup there is a name of this compound, that is betamethasone or prednisolone. So this acts as an anti-inflammatory drugs. So if you see the structure, so 4 rings are there, 3 cyclohexane and 1 cyclopentane ring. COCH2OH group is there, and this carbonyl functional group is also there. So from this structure, that is blue R and R nothing but these are the alkyl groups. If both the R groups are hydrogen, then it is known as prednisolone. If one R is F and another R dash is CH3, then that compound is, or the structure of that compound is betamethasone. So this prednisone and betamethasone are modified steroids having an additional double bond at C1 and C2, which increases the anti-inflammatory activity by 3 to 5 times. If you change the functional group or if you change the structure, if you modify the structure of that compound, then the activity may get increased or decreased. So in case of this prednisolone and betamethasone, the double bond at the C1 and C2 increases the anti-inflammatory response or anti-inflammatory activity by 3 to 5 times. So this prednisolone acetate is used as intermediate acting anti-inflammatory agent, whereas betamethasone is a long acting agent. So these compounds are used to treat inflammatory conditions caused by arthritic and rheumatic diseases, mainly for topical applications. So for the rheumatic diseases or arthritic diseases, we use these that is steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, that is prednisolone and betamethasone. However, these steroidal anti-inflammatory agents have side effects like anorexia. So there are different side effects of this steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So they also cause different disorders if you take in a high dose. Therefore, we again recommend non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. Now we'll come to see the second point, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug. So these steroidal have different adverse side effects, hence more and less replaceable by non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. These drugs are mainly used in the treatment of rheumatic fever, rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, osteoarthritis. So for different arthritic diseases, we are using these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs to remove the inflammation because of these diseases. So these anti-inflammatory drugs modify inflammatory response to diseases. So what is the use of this drug? It modify the inflammatory response to disease. But these diseases are not curative and do not remove the underlying cause of the disease. So these drugs not remove the cause of disease but only modify the inflammatory response to the disease. So an ideal anti-inflammatory drug should affect only aberrant uncontrolled inflammation and not interfere with the normal inflammatory response, which is a part of body's vital defense mechanism. So inflammation is a body's vital defense mechanism. So in case of arthritis or different diseases, these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs only modify the inflammatory response to diseases, and it does not remove the underlying cause of the disease. And an ideal anti-inflammatory drug should not affect the normal inflammatory response by the body. So these non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs are classified based on their chemical structures, and there are different classifications are given here. So for the first classification is based on the structure is aryl acetic acid derivatives. The second N-aryl anthranilic acid derivative. Third is salicylic acid derivatives. The fourth classification is aryl propionic acid derivative. The fifth is naphthalene acetic acid derivatives. The sixth organogold compounds, and the last one is pyrazole and pyrazolidines are the different classifications of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So by changing the structure of these drugs, these drugs are classified into different classifications based on their structure or based on the functional groups in the compound. So the first drug is given here. It is a type of classified as N-aryl anthranilic acid type. So this is that is the N-aryl anthranilic acid, and the example is given here. Aceclofenac and diclofenac are the examples of this N-aryl anthranilic acid. The question will be asked, the diclofenac and aceclofenac are the classes of are the drugs of class of dash dash, that is N-aryl anthranilic acid. If you see the difference in the structure of this diclofenac, aceclofenac, that is only the difference is CH2COOH, that is this group is the difference. Here the carboxylic group is there, and from that OH is replaced by OCH2COOH. So this is the change in the structure of these compounds. So one is diclofenac, second one is aceclofenac. So this aceclofenac is a derivative of this diclofenac, and these both the drugs are used to treat inflammation caused by osteoarthritis, rheumatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis. They have different side effects, but still these drugs are used to treat the inflammation made by this rheumatic arthritis and osteoarthritis. So how to synthesize this aceclofenac is given here. So here the first compound is 2,6-dichlorodiphenylamine. So here is at the 2 and at the 6 position, 2 chlorine groups are there, therefore it is 2,6-dichloro, 1 and 2, that is diphenylamine group is there. And this 2,6-dichlorodiphenylamine group is reacted with oxalyl chloride. When this compound is reacted with oxalyl chloride, the lone pair of electrons of this amine attacks on the carbonyl function and chlorine is get removed. And now this molecule is COCl. So this nitrogen is bonded directly with this carbonyl functional group of this oxalyl chloride. Again, this compound undergoes Friedel-Crafts reaction in presence of anhydrous AlCl3. So in presence of AlCl3, anhydrous AlCl3, the cyclization reaction takes place. This is because of this Friedel-Crafts reaction, Friedel-Crafts acylation reaction. Here, this bond attacks here, and there is a formation of a cyclic ring in the product. And again, this compound undergoes Wolff-Kishner reduction reaction in presence of NH2NH2KOH at 180 degrees Celsius, where this carbonyl functional group is get reduced into the CH2 functional group. So only the difference between these two compound is the reduction of this carbonyl functional group into the CH2 functional group. So here in Wolff-Kishner reduction, this carbonyl functional group is reduced into the CH2. In the next step, this compound on hydrolysis with alkali, that is NaOH, the ring is get opened. So the ring is get opened, and there is a formation of CH2 COONA. So due to this hydrolysis reaction, the ring is get opened and there is a formation of salt of acid, that is diclofenac sodium is formed, and this diclofenac sodium compound is reacted with benzyl bromoacetate. Now see here, this is the benzyl bromoacetate, and when this compound is reacted with this diclofenac sodium, then this carbon is bonded with this carbonyl group and there is a formation of this CH2COO, and this whole group is there. Sorry, here the lone pair of electrons on this oxygen attacks on this CH2 and bromine group is removed, and this whole group is bonded to this oxygen, and there is a formation of this aceclofenac, and when this aceclofenac is reduced, then this OCH2 pH group is removed and there is a functional group remains, that is COOH. So this is what the synthesis of this diclofenac sodium from this 2,6-dichloro-diphenylamine.